You see it every Sunday. A PGA Tour winner smiling, holding a shiny trophy, with a comically large check for $2 million. But what happens next? He walks off camera and starts spending it like it's radioactive. Because on tour, money doesn't sit still. It travels faster than a Rory McIlroy drive downwind. Let's pull back the curtain on how professional golfers actually burn through millions, often before their next tee time. 1. The caddy cuts first. You can't talk golf money without talking caddies. Every pro has one, and every caddy has rent, snacks, and an 8-iron to carry. When Tiger Woods won the 2019 Masters, his caddy Joe LaCava pocketed roughly $200,000 just for being there. That's a life-changing sum for most people. For Tiger, it's what he spends on sunglasses he forgets in hotel rooms. Most caddies take 10% of a win, 7% for a top 10, and a flat weekly salary when things go badly, which happens a lot. Even Rory McIlroy's caddy, Harry Diamond, reportedly makes close to $1 million a year. So next time you see a player fist bump his caddy after draining a putt, understand, that handshake just cost him a new Mercedes. 2. The traveling circus. Golfers don't just play around the corner. They crisscross the planet like touring musicians, minus the pyrotechnics. Jordan Spieth once joked that he spends more time packing suitcases than practicing putts. Every tournament week means flights, hotels, food, and, if you're Brooks Koepka, maybe a private jet or two. Private flights are a big-ticket addiction. Phil Mickelson owns one. Dustin Johnson rents one. Even Ricky Fowler, who could walk into any airport unnoticed now, has been known to charter when schedules get insane. A single cross-country hop can cost $25,000 to $40,000. Multiply that by 30 weeks a year, and you're halfway to broke. First class broke, but broke nonetheless. And then there's lodging. Forget cheap motels. Scotty Scheffler likes quiet rental houses near courses. Justin Thomas books entire Airbnbs so his team can relax. Translation: no one wants to hear their trainer doing stretches in the hallway at 6 a.m. One player estimated he spends $300,000 a year just on hotels and meals. And yes, that includes room service Caesar salads priced like stock options. 3. The human payroll. Coaches, trainers, therapists, oh my. Remember when golfers just had a swing coach? Cute. Modern players have full squads. Rory McIlroy has a swing coach, Michael Bannon, a putting coach, Brad Faxon, a fitness coach, a psychologist, and someone who presumably reminds him to smile after 3 putts. Bryson DeChambeau famously built a scientific lab around his game, literally hiring engineers to analyze his biomechanics. The man once bought a $30,000 3D motion system so he could measure how efficiently his hips explode. That's not a euphemism, but it sounds like one. These teams aren't cheap. Each expert gets a salary plus travel expenses. That's hundreds of thousands annually. And that's before you even mention sports therapists, dietitians, and Pilates instructors who accompany stars like Dustin Johnson and Jon Rahm to keep their bodies tournament ready. Imagine paying for 6 adults to follow you around all year just to tell you you're standing wrong. That's the PGA Tour lifestyle. 4. Equipment, the gearhead playground. Golfers get free clubs from sponsors, but that doesn't stop them from spending small fortunes anyway. Tiger Woods famously tests multiple versions of the same driver until one feels right. Brooks Koepka, who once refused an equipment deal because he wanted freedom to experiment, reportedly burned through dozens of prototypes before settling on a setup he liked. Then there's Justin Rose, who switched brands so many times one year that fans joked he needed a punch card. Buy 10 putters, get 1 free. Between custom shafts, launch monitors, and personal fitting tech, even sponsored pros drop serious cash chasing perfection. A high-end portable simulator alone can cost over $20,000. And yes, many of them have one on their private jets. 5. The homes, plural. Phil Mickelson used to have a home so large he joked it came with its own climate system. Dustin Johnson and Paulina Gretzky have an oceanfront estate that looks like a Bond villain's summer home. Rory McIlroy's Florida mansion has a putting green, pool, recording studio, and golf simulator. Some players collect houses like limited edition wedges. They keep one in Florida for winter, another in Arizona for off-season training, and sometimes a vacation pad in the Bahamas for mental recovery, which is golfer code for boat days and rum. Property taxes alone can rival an average person's salary. And maintenance? Let's just say a gardener's golf handicap is often lower than his employer's. 6. Cars, watches, and the fine art of flexing. Golfers don't flaunt wealth like NBA players, but make no mistake, they flex in quieter, pricier ways. Rory McIlroy's garage reportedly includes a Ferrari F12, Lamborghini Aventador, and Bentley GT. Ian Poulter, the self-proclaimed car nut, owns a fleet so big he built a museum for it. Brooks Koepka once gifted himself a Mercedes G-Wagon for winning a major, then sold it 2 years later because he got bored. Watches are another obsession. Phil Mickelson sports Rolexes so heavy they could double as kettlebells. Ricky Fowler has an endorsement with Omega. Even Colin Morikawa, the mild-mannered golden boy, has been spotted with a collection that could fund a new driving range. The funniest part? Most of them don't even wear watches while playing. They just buy them to mark victories. Somewhere out there is a Rolex collecting dust labeled "the one I won after beating Spieth." 7. Taxes, the real final round. Let's not forget the taxman, the only opponent no golfer can outdrive. If a player wins a tournament in California, he pays California taxes. If the next event's in Florida, different rules. Every state gets its slice. It's why so many pros suddenly discover they love living in Florida. No state income tax and plenty of sunshine to justify it. One accountant joked that Dustin Johnson spends more time calculating residency days than practicing putts. And yes, accountants on retainer are part of the spending spree too. 8. The charity game and the PR win. Credit where it's due. Many golfers genuinely give back. Jordan Spieth's Family Foundation supports kids with special needs and military families. Rory McIlroy's foundation donates millions to children's hospitals. Tiger Woods built an entire learning center that educates thousands of underprivileged students every year. These aren't cheap operations. They require staff, events, and fundraising galas, often paid out of the player's pocket. But they also help soften the image of millionaire golfer who complains about $12 eggs. 9. When it all goes sideways. The cruel part? Those expenses don't stop when your swing does. A pro who misses cuts still pays caddy salaries, coaches, travel, hotels, and taxes without earning a dime. Imagine losing $10,000 a week just to watch someone else hoist a trophy. Pat Perez once admitted that in his early years, he spent nearly everything he made traveling between events. Smiley Kaufman, once golf's golden boy, went from winning the 2016 Shriners Open to losing his card entirely a few seasons later. Expenses stayed the same, paychecks didn't. Golf isn't guaranteed money like the NFL or NBA. You play well, you eat well. You play bad, you eat the complimentary granola bars from the courtesy tent. 10. The LIV effect, when the checks get silly. And then came LIV Golf, the Saudi-backed league that basically threw a cheat code into the economy. Dustin Johnson pocketed over $150 million for joining. Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, and Bryson DeChambeau also cashed massive deals. What happens when someone hands you generational wealth? You start spending generationally. Koepka reportedly bought a new Florida mansion before the ink on his contract dried. Mickelson invested in coffee brands, golf course projects, and probably an emotional support accountant. LIV Golf has turned spending into an art form. Their after-parties look like scenes from a Bond movie. Fireworks, yachts, and champagne bills that could fund an entire Corn Ferry Tour season. 11. Investments, side hustles, and retirement plans. Not every golfer is reckless. Some are quietly brilliant with money. Rory McIlroy invests heavily in tech startups. He co-owns the fitness app, Whoop, now valued at billions. Tiger Woods has real estate ventures, restaurant chains, and a golf design company. Ricky Fowler has endorsement equity deals that pay him long after his swing cools off. Even Justin Rose launched a wine label, proving that nothing screams British golfer like getting into Pinot Noir. So while they're spending, they're also building empires that outlast their playing days. 12. The everyday irony. Here's the thing. Despite all the excess, private jets, Ferraris, custom suits, every golfer will still complain about hotel pillows, airport delays, and buffet eggs. Rory McIlroy once grumbled about airline Wi-Fi. Jon Rahm vented about the slow pace of play. And Phil Mickelson famously tweeted about not wanting to fly commercial again after a delayed flight. He was already a millionaire 10 times over. It's part of the charm. No matter how rich they get, golfers always find something to be slightly annoyed about. 13. The punchline. How to spend millions and still look stressed. So, how do PGA players spend millions? The short answer: very, very easily. They spend it on people who help them spend it better. They spend it on travel, therapy, training, and trophies that cost more to chase than they're worth. They buy mansions near courses they hate, cars they never drive, and watches they can't wear mid-round. Some, like Tiger and Rory, turn those millions into empires. Others, like the journeyman grinding for a top 40 finish, watch their profits vanish like a Pro V1 in a water hazard. But here's the truth. If you had to compete for your paycheck every single week, you'd probably splurge too. You'd buy comfort, convenience, and maybe a plane to escape the next missed cut. Because on the PGA Tour, success isn't just about birdies. It's about keeping enough cash left after paying everyone else to enjoy one.